Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
and warm greetings to all my brothers and sisters gathered here. So, about the rescue operation, 22nd October 2014, a day which will be cherished in the hearts of the crew of CS Caprice. On a gloomy afternoon, a boat carrying 510 people, they find a ray of hope. A loans that was CS Caprice, and that's how they all got survived because of CS Caprice, which was sailing close by. It was about 13:52 ship's time. It's an afternoon. I was on the bridge, and it was second officer's watch, and we received a distress signal, a message on the SAT-C. Myself and the second mate, we read the message stating that a boat carrying about 400 to 500 people are in distress. The position was mentioned, and they require immediate assistance. Now, when I saw this message, I was not very sure that whether this message is actually from the Malta RCC or it's just a hoax or just a. I was in a dilemma, and then there was a phone number given, and I asked the second officer, "Could you please check the phone number which is given below, just to make sure that this message is actually coming from Malta RCC?" The second officer checked the phone number and told that yes, the number is correct. Then I thought, okay, let me call up this number and recheck. And I called this number and I asked them, "Could you please repeat the message which you have sent to CS Caprice? I'm the master of CS Caprice, and appreciate if you could repeat the message just to reconfirm. Because today's world, anything can happen anytime. So I thought of reconfirming it. And then yes, the same message was repeated by phone. And yes, it was correct. And then I asked him, okay, you need to proceed. And the next thing is, okay, 400 to 500 people, yes, no doubt we have to proceed. But then, as a captain, I'm also subject to, I need to ask my company also, I need to inform them. We started heading towards the same position as told by the message. And then in the meanwhile, I called DPA, Captain Rajesh Dadwal, who's here. And I spoke to him on the phone and I told him this is what it is. I scanned the message and also sent it to him. I told him this is what's happened. I received a message saying that there's a boat in distress and we need to proceed and save them. And then we had to steam for about 2 hours from the present position. And after 2 hours of steaming, I could see nothing. I was on with my binoculars, with my eyes wide open on the binocle, trying to see if I can see something. I could see a small fishing vessel, just a small one. And then I almost reached the position and I still cannot see it. So I just called up the Malta RCC again and I told them, I can't find anything as such. 400 to 500 people means it should be a big ship. I saw a fishing vessel, a small one, but I don't think so that could be it. Okay, anyways, I'll proceed further and I will come back to you. And then I started calling on the VHF. The boat in distress carrying about 400 to 500 people. Can you please come in? Can you please answer me? I called up about 3 to 4 times and there was no response. Probably they don't understand English, maybe. And fifth time when I called them, then one gentleman he comes back and yes, big ship, captain, please, yeah, we have a problem. And then the conversation goes on, and they told me that there are infants children, ladies, and also a few were pregnant. About they told me about 10 people, 10 ladies were pregnant. But that was from far. I couldn't see anybody because it's quite a. It was not very close by, so still it was difficult to digest. He's saying 10 ladies pregnant and this and that. I told, okay, fine. I'm coming close to you, close to your vessel. Please do not move. Stay at that location. Let me come and assess the situation. Let me come and actually see what's actually the situation. Let me assess the situation and then let us see what best we can do. So I told him, do not move. Stay at your position. I'm going to try to come close to your vessel. And then we started steaming slowly towards the vessel. We went very close, about 3 cables, and then we took the photographs for evidence. And that's the time they lifted babies. They literally lifted babies and they showed me. And that's the time it was very hard to believe that yes, there are ladies and you'll see the photograph. You can small babies, and then it was really difficult to believe that this is a fact. There are ladies and babies on that small vessel, which I actually didn't believe that there could be 400 to 500 people. The actual number was not known. The number was known only when they came on board. We actually started counting. Until then, it was just 400 to 500. Then when we all saw it, it was yes, this is true. This is a whopping number of people, and on that too, small boat. And now, in the meanwhile, I had a talk with the company, because even in the company they had an emergency meeting. They called my bosses. They had a meeting, and they too were trying to liaise with me so as to uh, whatever best we can do with the situation. And then what happened was the weather. We knew that the weather was getting bad. It was moderate seas at the time when we approached, and it was getting boisterous. So probably the prediction was in another 4 hours time, the weather will be very bad, up to force 8 to force 9. And then these people were not, their intention was to go to Italy. They asked me, who gave you this message? We are in distress, that's for sure, but who gave you this message? I told them the message was given by Malta RCC. So immediately they told me, we don't want to go to Malta. So that was the first thing. We don't want to go to Malta. We want to go to Italy. I told them, I cannot assure you that it's Italy, or no. I can assure you that we can take all of you on board and we can save you. That assurance, okay, we can give, because our company was very, very supportive. When I called, it was very clear. When the moment I called them, the answer was, we have to save them. So they didn't give a second thought about it. It's just they said, we have to save them. So there was joy in my heart, because when my company is saying we have to save them, that's it. So because why I'm saying this, because any company, it's a commercial world today. It's a commercial world. Not everybody will tell you like, go ahead. And that was a very nice thing of our company, as our managing director, Mr. Chandler Sands, he told, people first. And that was really, it was in action, not only in words. Many people say in words and not in action, but here it was in action. And the next step was, we've already tricked him on board, but then they told like, okay, you give us some food and water, and then we'll proceed. Show us the direction to Italy, and we'll proceed. So you probably might have seen on the video. That Captain give us some food and water, and we'll proceed. And we told them, it's not that easy. The weather is going to be really bad. It's going to be force 8, force 9. No one will survive. If you want to proceed by yourself, no one. All of you are going to die. And then I told them it's 6 p.m. now. It's twilight. The best time to have you on board because during daylight is best. You can get them on board safely. During dark hours, it becomes difficult, and the weather was really getting bad. But they wasted a lot of time. They started steaming ahead, and then we chasing behind them. Yeah, this went on till 9 o'clock, till 9 p.m. So 3 hours is just kind of negotiation or something for their own lives. Yeah. And then at about 9 o'clock, we got a confirmation saying that the Italian government is ready to take them, and this kind of confirmation was received, and then slowly they started coming alongside. And the problem was nobody knew how to navigate. The problem was the captain who had taken them was not with them. He fled away. And then the wind was on the starboard side, so we thought the best thing is to have the boat approaching on the starboard side so that the wind will push them and they come alongside safely. But then when we asked them to come alongside, they started using the engines full, because they have got no clue how as to adjust the engines so as to come slowly, and or they don't know about that. Now I was worried because it was like coming perpendicular toward the midship. That could have been a worst accident because we can have a hole on our own ship. You go to rescue somebody, and then you know how it is. So this was more dangerous. I told him, please stop. Please do not come further. Please stop. And the problem was even the language barrier was also a problem. One guy could understand what I was saying to them. And then luckily they stopped. Okay, turn around to your right. Do not proceed, turn around. And they started turning to the wrong side. Oh no. Then we started flashing with the eldest lamp. Told them, okay, turn around to your starboard, to your right side. We can't use starboard and port. Yeah. So okay, start turning to your right. And then they started turning to the right. And then the wind started. I told, okay, stop your engines now. Do not use the engines. And then the wind started pushing them. And here, only thing what you can do at the moment is just pray. You can just pray and ask Lord for assistance so that He blows the wind at the right direction, at the right side, and He gets them alongside. That was the only thing. And then the boat started coming alongside. And the worst part was she started coming close to the stern of the ship where the propeller is. And that was dangerous because on the stern of the ship, it's curved. And the boat was small, so it's got something like if this is the curvature, the boat coming somewhere here. And the people were all hanging on the boat, on the top and the bottom, and people all around. And my only fear was with the speed what they were coming, probably they could have some injuries. So as they were coming alongside, I knew that was dangerous. I couldn't allow them to go straight to the propeller. But at the same time, using the engines of such a big ship is also dangerous. So, but there was no other choice. I thought like we have to use the engines now. Just a kick, a stern, so that the ship goes a little behind, and then just to have the boat alongside on the parallel body. Called up the engine room. I told, okay, we're going to go astern, just probably a short kick, and then as long as the boat comes alongside, and then we stop. So we used the engines. We came a little bit astern, and luckily she comes exactly at abreast number 5 hatch on the starboard side. We had, in the meanwhile, before getting the boat alongside, you can imagine the reaction of our own staff, what they might have gone through. Every individual has got a different thought process. First question, I told my chief officer, okay, we need to prepare the personal safety and also the preparation so as to get the migrants on board safely. Now there were different questions. He told me, sir, what about Ebola? What about Ebola? Probably one or two of them may have Ebola, and we all will have it. I told him, yes, you're right. There could be a chance. And the next question was, so you said at 400 to 500 people, and we are only 20. What about if they have some guns and knives and things like that? What about our security? Who is going to guarantee about our own life? We are going to save them. It's a nice thing. We agreed. But what about our security? What about our lives? And then a few people asked me about the food also. If you're going to feed 500 people, what about us? You want to keep us hungry? You want to feed them? And so different. Each one has got a different way of thinking, and it's not wrong. I need to respect it because yes, Ebola. First is obviously our lives and then our neighbor. So I told him, yes, gentlemen, whatever you say, it, I respect it. It's right. It's right. Whatever you said, it's right. But then when when we took the ship close by, I told him, can't you see those? What about the babies? What mistake have they done? The whole atmosphere, the whole thought process was changed. It was like, no, it's okay, whatever it is. We'll take our precaution. Even the company at Captain Rajesh Dalwal, the DP of the company, he also, what happens at that particular, it's not easy to think. It isn't because you start thinking about you're on that on scene, and it's not easy. So there was guidance and assistance from the company also, saying that please take precautions, like wear your gloves and so that people don't catch any disease and by the by skin contact and hand contact, whatever. So these things we did our best, whatever possible, and the boat comes alongside, and unfortunately they don't have any ropes to tie the boat, and none of them know how to tie the knot. No, you don't know how to tie the knot. So then this is where we lost some time. The sea is getting bad. We had our ropes, the hawsers ready, but they don't know how to make fast, where to make fast, how to make fast. So explaining to them and getting things done was not easy. And the ship's ropes, it is heavy because they didn't have any other ropes. We had to pass our ropes and then make them alongside, make fast. We made fast, and we can't use the gangway. We can't use the gangway. We had to use the accommodation because the boat was tossing up and down. If we had to use the gangway, they could have more injury. So the only option is the pilot ladder. Now probably you might have thought how the ladies and the babies might have come through a pilot ladder. That's a wooden step with a rope. But that was the only option. We couldn't use the gangway because the boat was tossing very badly. And then we told the people, let the ladies come first, and then first the baby and the infant and the kids, let them come first, and then the ladies, and they cooperated very well. We had all the children and the ladies on board, and our crew had to literally pull them up because it wasn't easy for the ladies to climb the ladder. It wasn't easy, so they had to literally bend down, catch their shoulders, and from down below the men were helping us to, and that's how in about 1.5 hours, about 510 people, all of them were on board. The counting was done as they were coming on board, and as soon as they came on board, they threw all their life jackets back onto the small boat. Everyone, they were so happy, glad. Just threw it away. I told them, "What are you doing? What are you people doing it? That's the same life jacket which saved you all this while for probably about 3 days, and now you want to throw that? No." Okay, they made sure that everything was got brought back, and And then now the problem is where you're going to keep the people on board. So initially we asked everybody to go to the Foxhall store, the Forecastle store. We had the lower Bosun store and the upper Bosun store. Everybody went in there. And initially we told that all the ladies go in so that it's well sheltered. Men physically definitely a little stronger than the ladies, so because the weather was bad. And then the men we stayed in the mast houses. And then probably about 11 o'clock, then we told Malta RCC that everyone is on board and safely. And the total number is 510. We called up the company also, and then we requested permission to sail. Now the question is to Italy. Where in Italy? That okay, we just start heading to Sicily, and we started heading. We left the boat adrift, sent a navigation warning set at this position. The boat is a lit boat has been set adrift, and we started our voyage towards Sicily. And as we started the voyage, myself and chief officer, we went on a round just to check if everything is okay. And then we could see some people were sleeping just under the hatch combing on the weather deck. And the shipping seas was dangerous. But they thought like as long as we are on the big ship, probably nothing can happen. But I told them you can't sleep over here on the main deck. That's dangerous. Probably in the morning when you come, no, maybe like everybody's washed away. So we had to ask them to go to the mast houses or come at the aft portion where there's no shipping seas. Until the last person was picked up, the sea was moderate. But as soon as the last person came on board and we left the boat adrift, the sea was really, really bad. Until then, God was so merciful and kind that seas were okay. And the whole operation went on so smoothly. Very, very, very nice. After we set the boat adrift, the seas were really bad. That's what even the crew and myself, everybody were discussing. Like until then, everything was okay. It was moderate. It was rough, but not that rough that the operation would have been mishandled. But everything went on smooth. And then when we went to the Foxhall store, there were too many people. So next thing what we thought was because of the carbon dioxide, which was like it can be like an enclosed space. So we started off the blowers. We made sure that all the ventilators are open. We also started off the blowers so that there's exchange of air. And in the meanwhile, the cook was worried. What we're going to prepare? What about tomorrow in the morning? What we're going to give them? What we're going to feed them? He asked, okay, what's the number? 510. Okay, he must have. How are we going to feed them? So I thought, like, okay, the best way is we got rice, we got dal, that is, some grams. Probably make a porridge. Boil the rice and put some grams, so it's nutritious. At the same time, we are not taxing. It's not. It's easy for the cook to prepare, or else it's difficult to probably give an Indian cuisine like a chicken biryani or. No, it's not possible. It's difficult. So the best part was on a big vessel with all the nutritious grams and everything mixed up together, and a little bit of flavors, very little bit of spices, and that's how about five to six big utensils we used to prepare, and the food was served in batches. At the same night, cook prepared the tea and was served. So the people were very helpful. The migrants, our guests, were very cooperative. So they themselves helped to serve everybody, and so it was very nice. And we also, now you can think about a ship's crew. Apart from the normal operation of the ship operation, they had to do an extra work. But the best part was there was a smile on their face. though they were drenching with sweat, and and also they were tired, right? Because we never expected this to happen. We never thought that probably in the afternoon we're going to have a guest, 510 people on board, and we never expected that. So the normal operation, that's the normal work, and everything was going on, and then all of a sudden things changed. So they had to work. You know, rest hours, rest hours is need to be complied with as per STCW. We always comply. We never force anybody to work extra. Overtime is generally done, but not beating the rest hours. So in this case, everyone had to push themselves to the maximum limits to give their best to do this Herculean task. The best part was the joy and the cheer what the people had to do this. It was 12:30. Yeah, it was midnight, and everybody were on having the tea, and then we started sailing, and sea was bad. Next day in the morning, 6 o'clock again, tea was served, and then the steward and the seamen went with the milk packets to give milk to the babies. And there were about 10 ladies who were pregnant, and we had to remove them from the foxhole store because they couldn't have themselves there because uh, amidst so much of people, it was difficult for them to breathe and to have their cells in the foxhole store. So we had to segregate them. We had to take them to the Suez Canal room, where all the pregnant ladies were kept in the Suez Canal room so that they were comfortable. And the food was served in batches. So crew were given rest after that. We told them we will have a 6 on 6 off batch, so that it was a continuous process to feed them and to do the needful. So we had a 6 on 6 off, and that's how everybody catered to all their needs. And then as we in the morning we got a message that we need to head to Pozzallo to offload the migrants. And when we went to Pozzallo, since the weather was bad, they tried to level best, but they couldn't offload them. And in the meanwhile, we had a medical emergency. On this picture, you can see people. Yeah, this is the medical emergency where the lady, a Syrian lady, she started. It was in the afternoon. The chief officer called me on the walkie-talkie. He told Captain, there's an emergency. I asked him, what kind of emergency? He said a lady is gasping for breath at a location in the Suez Canal room. The first thing what we did, we ran down. I told, okay, let's shift the lady to the hospital, and we started giving her the oxygen. We had a 40-liter bottle, which is as per the compliance of IMDG cargo. We're supposed to have a 40-liter oxygen bottle. The same was used for this lady, but things were not okay. She was still gasping for breath. So the next thing was like to check the vital symptoms, the blood pressure, and pulse, and the temperature. All three were checked, and the log was maintained. In the meanwhile, I called up RCC Roma for CIR in Roma for medical assistance, and then I told them about the vital symptoms. These are the things, she's gasping for breath, and this is all we know. And then they told us to inject hydrocortisone 100 mg. This was done, was injected, and then things became better. But her condition was better, but it was not safe to have her on board. So we requested for the Coast Guard for airlift, and then she was airlifted. As in the meanwhile, we started steaming towards Augusta because at Pozzallo it was not possible because of the weather. So we had to steam towards Augusta to offload the migrants. And then on the way to Augusta, the lady was airlifted, and then at night, so they steamed about after 2.5 days of sailing. 510 migrants were offloaded safely. I really appreciate the hard work of the entire crew. It's not okay. Today I'm here to represent my whole team. It's not me alone who did the job. It is the entire crew. You can see the photograph here of everyone. So this was the team which made it possible to save this 510 people without any injuries and with a smiling face. So unity is strength. It's what we all learned. Or else it would have been possible by one single person or two or three. No, it's the entire team which gave their best and made it possible. And also, it's not only the sailing staff; it's also the company. Our owners also sitting in Bahamas who gave us supporting and good advices at the right time. So this is how everything was possible.